Look, I have some bubbles to burst today. This video probably will not go down very well with some of you, but somebody needs to tell you the truth. Somebody needs to wake you up and tell you this and get this through to you before you wake up 10 years from now and realize that you are all alone. You are still all alone because the high value man that you were promised, that you thought you deserved, never showed up. I don't want you to die alone. Yes, this is how far it's gonna go. This is how serious I am, because I believe that the search for the high value man is a toxic lie, and we're gonna talk about it today.
Do you want to live an expensive lifestyle full of luxury goods, expensive vacations, and the man of your dreams?
This is how to get a wealthy man to be obsessed with you.
But if you do want a rich, successful man, then there are certain things that you have to change if you want to be with a man like that.
How to Marry Rich 101.
Where do you meet wealthy men?
Where can you find wealthy men?
Rich men.
A rich, successful man.
Wealthy men.
High value.
High quality men.
Rich, high value men.
Whew, I'm getting hyped up. This is a bubble that I burst for myself a few years ago, and I'm here to burst it for you as well, in case it hasn't yet been burst for you yet, because I've noticed it's gotten increasingly worse. It's been getting increasingly more noise on social media, this idea of a high value man. And when I say high value man, there are multiple different definitions of a high value man. I'm talking about the toxic definition of a high value man, the toxic search for a high value man. And I feel very passionate about this today because there are literally entire Instagram accounts, entire social media accounts, entire courses, yes, you heard that right, paid courses to find a high value man. And when I say high value man, these particular people mean a rich man, okay? They mean a rich, wealthy man. That is what they're referring to. And that is what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the definition of a high value man being a rich man, because there are a few social media accounts and there are a few people who have different definitions of what a high value man is. I have my own definition of what a high value man is, but I'm talking about the toxicity on TikTok especially. There are whole YouTube accounts, even courses dedicated to where to find a high value man, aka airport lounges, exclusive clubs, membership clubs, country clubs, like the list goes on, okay? And what they're really saying is how to find a rich, wealthy man. I'm gonna be breaking down so much with you today, including my own personal experiences with, I'm not gonna say high value, with rich, wealthy men, okay? Somebody needs to tell you, so I'm gonna tell you today. I think this search for a high value man, aka wealthy man, is just the biggest toxic lie that we've ever been sold. And I'm gonna actually run through some statistics with you in regards to the United States. You can do this for yourself. I've done this for myself in regards to Australia. Wherever you live, you can do this for yourself. I'm gonna share some fun facts with you. We love a fun fact here. Give me a thumbs up, comment down below if you love a fun fact. Give you some fun facts, you ready? Strap in, okay? It gets bleak. The median household income was around $67,000 in 2020. In 2022, 34% of American households see a $100,000 income. It's estimated that 8% of all the US population earns $100K a year. Specifically, just 11.1% of all working women have a six-figure annual income. Almost 50% of 100K earners are living paycheck to paycheck. Just 1% of US households have a $500,000 annual income. So what is the American average income in the US? In 2020, the US ranked 8th in the world in terms of average annual income. I'm gonna have this particular article linked down below if you wanna have a read of it. The websites I've found vary in percentages, but on average, I found that it's anywhere from like under 10%. Some websites say it's just over 15%, but you know, this particular website here, I'm gonna be generous here. It says that 17% of all men earn over 100K per year in the US in 2022. So these are the statistics we're working with, okay? So let's just say it's 17% of all men. So with this idea that we're being sold, especially on TikTok, you know, you see these women who preach that, you know, they bagged a wealthy man, they bagged a high value man, and it's just this simple to do. I think they make it seem so easy. And let me just break this down. 17%, 100K a year on average. That's not many, that's not many men. That is not many men at all. And I think it's also important to consider other variables and other factors, because if your sole purpose in life is to bag a rich man and bag a high value man, wealthy man, if that already doesn't seem difficult enough with, you know, an average of 17% of men in the US being over 100K earners. If that doesn't already seem difficult enough, you are not even contributing in the other factors that should be of concern and should actually take more priority, like their values. What do they believe in? What are their beliefs, their political, their spiritual, religious beliefs? What are they inherently a good person? All these things should come into play. The simple things like, are they even straight? Okay, do they even like women? What percentage of this men like women? What percentage of these men, high value men, these rich men that you're searching for, even like women, first of all, are even single? Okay, let's keep in mind that God knows what percentage of that number is actually married or in a committed relationship, or even believe in monogamy, if that's what you believe in, if that's what you're looking for. I'm talking about in the traditional sense. Let's just pretend that you are someone who's looking for someone with same values as you, and monogamy would be great, and maybe a specific age bracket, okay? Because, you know, I'm sure if you're out here, maybe I'm just gonna use myself as an example, okay? If I was looking for a rich man, I am 29, I'm 30 in a month. Age is important to me, okay? And I know some people don't think it is, but I'm personally not out here looking to be, you know, in a Leonardo DiCaprio type relationship. I'm not looking to be with a 60 or 70-year-old man. So let's just keep in mind all these factors that play a part. And then depending where you're from, they're just sprinkles. We call them hundreds and thousands here in Australia. I don't know what you call them where you are. Probably just sprinkles in the US. I love how I'm just reducing men to just hundreds and thousands of colorful little candies, but this is the perfect analogy. Okay, so this is your pool of eligible bachelors, of high value, wealthy men. Here's your little pool of millionaires and multimillionaires. Look how big it is. Isn't it so big and wonderful? Wrong. Let's break it down. Let's say this many of them are married. Do you want to be with a married man? I personally don't. So these ones, they're out. Bye-bye, you're gone. This is your pool, isn't it? Oh, it still looks nice and big and wonderful, doesn't it? No. Let's just imagine, again, I'm being very generous here. This amount of them are in committed relationships. Yep, here they are. And let's say maybe this amount, this over here, these are gay, okay? Do you want to be with a gay man? I mean, I personally don't. I would like to be with a man who finds me sexually attractive. So, yep, that's that over there. Now, let's also keep in mind, I don't know if age matters to you, but it matters to me. Let's say that you are a 25-year-old woman. Maybe, I mean, depends what your preferences are, but personally, let's say that maybe this amount of them are in their 50s, maybe their 60s. Do you want a 50-year-old man? I'm gonna pop them over there. Now we have this. This is our pool. It still looks nice and big, doesn't it? How exciting. No. Okay, so let's say that this amount have different religious or political views. And, you know, that can definitely make or break a relationship. Personally, I want someone who shares my spiritual beliefs, my religious beliefs, and my political beliefs. And say you've got brown hair. Say you're a brunette. Maybe this amount of men only date blondes, okay? Maybe this amount of men don't find you attractive. Bye-bye, off you go. And say this amount here, okay? Maybe timing's coming into play. Maybe they've just had their heart broken. Or maybe, you know, maybe they're not even looking for a relationship. Maybe they're not even monogamous. Maybe they're even a bit of a boy or a serial cheater. Do we want that? No, we don't, ladies, okay? Off you go, bye-bye. Let's half it because, you know what? Maybe you don't have a connection. Maybe chemistry is not there. Maybe you don't have much in common, the chemistry is not there, you don't make each other laugh, you don't really have a good time, you have nothing in common. Some would argue that this is still a pretty decent pool. There's still a good potential amount of men there, but can you see the difference, okay? It's really, really drastic. Maybe none of these are right for you either. Some would say that this is still a pretty big pool, because I was being quite generous a lot of my, you know, my separation there, but I mean, look at the drastic difference. It is quite drastic. So I hope you enjoyed my analogy with hundreds and thousands. I had a lot of fun with it. So if you're just looking for a wealthy man, it's already quite difficult with the stats. But when you put on all the other variables on top of that, the pool is getting smaller and smaller. It's getting smaller and smaller. And I think that these are things that are not talked about. And these dating coaches, this is how to bag a wealthy man. kind of all just put it down to, oh, well, like positive thinking and affirmations. And I believe in affirmations and I believe in the power of the universe and positive thinking. But I think we're not really being realistic with ourselves. We're not. We're really not. I fell into this trap and this bubble burst for me a few years ago, like I said. But affirmations and positive thinking and having standards, yes, these things are all important, absolutely. But if you're chasing and trying to bag a wealthy man, first of all, I don't know, I just don't think that's the key to happiness. And if that's the only thing you're looking for, like I said, it's hard enough as it is. But when you lump on the other things that should take priority and are truly deeply important and what will contribute to a fulfilling, long-lasting, healthy, loving relationship are things like shared values, beliefs, chemistry. Chemistry is so important, which again makes the pool even smaller. I'm getting really passionate. Well, say you're someone who wants to bag a rich man, someone who makes over 100K a year, say a millionaire, whatever. You want to bag a wealthy man and you want to get married and have kids, okay? Within that pool that I already talked about, do they even want to get married? Do they even believe in monogamy? Do they even believe in marriage? Or do they even want to have children? All of these things make the pool smaller and smaller and smaller. It's so easy to get swept up in this toxic space of, oh, like just search for a high value man. It's so easy, just positive affirmations and hang out where rich men hang out. It's so easy to say that and you're not even considering the actual percentage of men that are millionaires in the US, but then on top of that, all the other things, all the other factors that should be an important factor and should play an important role. I need to take a breath, okay? So I'm getting very puffed out. I'm very passionate about this topic, if you couldn't already tell. Let me just take a breather. Toxic lie that women are being sold on social media to strive to marry a rich man and to strive to be with a wealthy man. It's so toxic. And I just think it's getting more and more noise, more and more followers, if you will. And I find it really sad. It just makes me so sad when I see comments, and I've seen multiple comments like this on these particular pages of like, oh, well, I had a broke guy break my heart and a broke guy who was a loser and he was a horrible person. So I may as well date a rich man who's a horrible person. And I'm thinking, no, you got it wrong. Why is the bar set so low? Why? Why is the bar set so low? Why are we changing the financial status of what we're looking for when in actual fact we should be changing the idea of, no, we should be actually looking for a decent person, a kind-hearted person. Oh God. I think there are multiple people on this planet that could be the perfect fit. I don't believe in the perfect person, and truthfully, when I look back at my 20s, I actually believe that there was probably, I'm gonna say, maybe only like two people from my 20s that could have been long-term relationships, that could have been my person, or so to speak. But it all comes down to timing. And I think so much of the time we forget that it all comes down to timing. And again, like I said, some of these things are hard truths, but this is reality, you know, we know. And I mean, whether or not you want to believe it's the truth, there are so many men who are high value men that spend a majority of their 20s or 30s single, grinding, making money, becoming wealthy. And, you know, all of a sudden they may wake up one day and realize, oh my God, I'm 35. I want to find a woman. I want to have a child. I want to get married. I want a family. And it's timing, isn't it? Almost a bit of musical chairs in the sense where it's very much all about timing. Obviously, you know, chemistry and all that does play a very important role, but a lot of the time it's timing. I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story time now. It's kind of like 4 mini stories in one really, but I'm going to share with you my experiences with dating wealthy men, rich men, high value men, because they didn't really work out. And there was a lot there that I think things like this aren't really talked about on social media. I have 4 experiences to share with you. These men were over 6-figure earners. Two of them actually were millionaires, and one of them now is a full-on millionaire, like very successful, very, very successful business that if I was to mention to you, you'd probably know about it. Okay, so man number one, example number one I'm going to share with you. I dated in my 20s. We dated for a few months. He was incredibly successful. I'm pretty certain that he came from money. His family was very, very wealthy. He had multiple businesses. He was an entrepreneur of sorts. He had a lot of money. He was making over 6 figures and he dressed very well. He owned a lot of designer clothes. He owned very nice things, but he was incredibly controlling. Some examples were things like he didn't like the way I dressed. He wanted me to dress differently. He wanted to tell me what to wear. He said that if and when I was to ever go shopping again, he would like to come with me so that he could choose my clothes and have a say in the clothes that I bought with my own money. Some of you may think, oh my God, that's so romantic. That's so sweet. No, I'm sorry, I don't play that. That's not romantic. That's not sweet to me at all. That's very controlling. He was a very, very controlling person. One of them was like a complete, this is the one that if I was to tell you what business he has, you would know it. This guy was a complete boy. I even had a friend at the time who, when this particular friend found out that I was dating him and we ended, he was like, oh my God, Caitlin, like I wish you told me you were dating him because I would have told you he was bad news. So yeah, this guy, not a good guy. There's a few examples, but one that sticks out for me was whenever we'd go out to dinner, when we'd go out to dinner dates, we would be sitting, he would choose the seat where he could see his car. He had a really nice car. It was like I don't mean, okay, it was a nice car. It was a nice car, okay? It was the kind of car where he'd have it parked on the street and people would come and like look at it and take photos with it. It was a really nice car. But he would sit in a specific way where I would sit here and he would sit here so that he could see me, but he could more importantly see his car and that nothing was gonna happen to his car. And again, maybe some of you that's totally fine, but that does not make me feel great. Like that does not make me feel great. I didn't like that. And yeah, he was just an all around like major boy. This example is a guy that I think was pretty well off at the time when I was dating him, but now he is a very, very successful businessman. He is a millionaire. But at the time when I dated him, he was very much in that startup phase of building his business. So again, this also goes back to timing, but there's other things about this guy that was like just off. But one thing that really stood out to me that he said, and I've actually got it written here in quotes, he told me that no woman would mean as much to him as his business does. No woman would ever take priority over his business. And that's just not a nice feeling, is it, ladies? That's not a nice feeling. That's not a nice feeling. And I mean, the other one is just another small little example that I have here. The last example I want to share with you was actually when I started to realize that the high value man search was probably not what I should be focusing on and not where I should be heavily focusing all my time. Because what I realized when I dated this particular person is one of my love languages is quality time. Quality time is very, very important to me. And I guess when I was on this search for like a high value man, aka wealthy man, I didn't consider, I didn't think about the fact that, well, you know, if he's making this money in a legal way, he probably has to spend the time working, doesn't he? I mean, not all cases, but majority of cases, like if you've got a high earning man, he's very much career focused, he's very career driven, and he's probably spending a lot of time working. I am someone who loves quality time. Quality time is one of my love languages, and dating this person, I did feel quite alone. I didn't see him very often. I mean, he wasn't a boy. He was not out here, you know, with other women doing things. He was working. He was at the office. He was grinding. He was working really hard. Spent a lot of time working. He spent a lot of time talking about work. Work was kind of his whole life. And on top of that, this is a really weirdly specific thing that I need to add. He was also on a fitness journey, which again, probably comes back to the timing, doesn't it? At the time, which I don't know if he still is on this fitness journey, but at the time he was very, very heavily on a fitness journey. And all he ate, you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. All he ate was chicken and broccoli. Chicken and broccoli was all he ate. Very, very basic. Chicken, broccoli, rice. Okay? I love food. I love it. This was not working. No, this was not working. And it was just a very sad time. I mean, there was so much about him that was perfect. He was a high value man. But I didn't want to envision a life where I'd be with someone. I didn't want to give up those sacrifices of being with someone who I couldn't enjoy dessert with and who was working so much and who was so heavily focused on work. And I think that's something that if your love language is quality time, a high value man may not be what's right for you. So to round up this video, I think the search for a high value man is so toxic. It is so toxic, and you're better off, truthfully, finding a man, and I know this sounds so cliche, I know it may sound so cliche, but I think you're better off finding someone with a good heart who has similar values, similar morals, who you connect with, you have that chemistry with. I feel like this is maybe sounds a bit negative, but I actually think it's better to find someone who has potential to grow and build with you. Because I do believe in that balance of yin and yang. I think that the right man can bring out so much in a woman, but equally the right woman can bring out so much in a man. And I think that there's so much to be said for looking for somebody with the right morals, the right values, a decent, kind-hearted individual who you can grow with and you can build with. Because, you know, you may be in this toxic search for a high-value man. Let's be honest, you're looking for a rich man. Some of these people are out here pushing to look for a rich man. But, you know, if you're in your 20s or 30s, you have no idea what the future could hold. And you're so much better off building with someone and having that growth together. And, you know, who's to say that, you know, when they're 40, when they're 50, when they're 60 is when they could hit millionaire status or multi-millionaire status, if that's what you're so in search for. I'm sure that there's going to be people in the comments. Share with me your experiences, because I think that this should be really a great discussion that we could all have together. Because I'm not at all discounting that there's probably going to be some of you in the comments who are going to share your experiences that you are with a millionaire or a multi-millionaire or a rich man, so to speak, and he is wonderful and he is loving and he is great and he ticks all your boxes and it's perfect. I do believe there are people out there experiencing that, and I do believe that these relationships exist, but I think that we are fed this lie on social media that one, it's the only thing that we should be looking for, but two, it's the most important thing we should be looking for, but three, it's so easy to find, because it's not. And I believe that there is so much more power in finding someone to build with, finding someone to create a life with, and finding someone to grow with together. I do think this whole high value man search, like the wealthy man, rich man search, is very toxic, and I want to hear what your definition of a high value man is, because I don't think that we should be so heavily focused on hunting down a rich man, because I think there is so much emphasis on TikTok, and it actually scares me. It does scare me, and it makes me worry for the younger generation. It makes me worry for women who are going to hold out and think that, you know, they're going to take these courses, God forbid, and pay money to learn how to find a rich man, and they're not, maybe some of them might, but it does worry me, and it does worry me for the next generation. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this specific topic. I'm gonna have another one linked for you right here. If you haven't had enough of me just yet, feel free to join me over there. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.